feeling like I'm academics. Can't run away.
All right. And after that, we're getting to Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z. Here we go. Here we go, people. So, Bad Bunny won the award. I think he won a couple of awards. He won the award for the best Música Urbana album. Okay. He had a short speech, and this was his speech here. Hold on. I want to get their full speech. Bad Bunny speech. Here we go. Here we go, chat.
Before I say...
First of all, I had no idea this motherfucker spoke English. I swear. I swear. And I'm going to tell you why. When he does interviews, he makes no attempt to speak English. And who used to be like a counterpart essentially, or he was like a competitor at a certain point before Bad Bunny just went like Eureka. And he has rapped in English. He does interviews with English outlets where he speaks in English. I've done an interview and he spoke in English. Bad Bunny, he's really, I'm Spanish. Fuck all that English shit. This is the first time I was like, what the fuck? He speaks English? Now, I don't know if he's reading a teleprompter, but I was shocked when I seen him like speak English like this. He's like Ronaldo. Like, I don't think Ronaldo speaks, like, I'm talking Ronaldo like in the football world, or soccer world. I don't think he speaks English neither. But he spoke English good, right? I can speak English well. Well, first of all, let me just address this while...
You're Americans.
Okay. I will say this. There is a little bit of an irony, even though I get it. If you don't know, Bad Bunny hails from the island of Puerto Rico. If you don't know, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. People born on the island of Puerto Rico, even though they can't vote for the president of the United States, they are citizens. They carry a U.S. passport, and they would not be the subject, or could never be the subject, of any ICE deportation because they are U.S. citizens. So the idea when he says fuck ICE, I think people think like he's Mexican. He's not Mexican, okay? He hails from the island of Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny has an American passport, okay? Just let you know, all right? I think some people might be confused here. They're thinking like, like ICE might run in and grab him. He's mostly speaking for his Hispanic audience that hails from all the diaspora of these Spanish-speaking countries, whether it's Paraguay, Uruguay, from Panama, Peru, from Chile, from Bolivia, from where else? Costa Rica, from where else? Where am I missing? Of course, the Dominican Republic. He has a vast audience, a very vast audience, and if you don't know, his dominance has been amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I seen a page put this out recently. I don't know if was it Akademiks that put it out. So they've looked at like the most streamed artist, in the since the year started, like the most streamed artist daily, and he is the most streamed artist in the world, like consecutively for like the last 10 or 12 days. So theoretically, we look at like Taylor Swift, and of course, you have The Weeknd, and Drake is right there with them. That's like the big four. But essentially, he is, his global impact, right? His global impact is ridiculous. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember he dropped midweek when Le Bebe dropped, and Le Bebe, did like 140 and he did 90 because he only had 3 days of tracking with I think it was the Wham album. The next week, he did 200, second week. The guy is fucking huge. And the only reason why, one thing I do like about Bad Bunny, one thing about him is that he rejects all the rules to do with how U.S. music consumption goes, and also he plays politics with his music, which, I think that's every artist's right if they want, okay? Okay, wow, my boy took that Rosetta Stone. Most streamed artists, February, no, I think you got to look at January 2026. Yeah, you'll notice, so these would be, hopefully I can see it. There's a few pages that tweeted out, like daily, what the streams were. Look, okay, here we go. Most streamed artists on Spotify each day in 2026. I don't know if this is accurate because, here we go. Look, so it's literally, thank you to Chart Data for having this. The most streamed artists, so this is Spotify Global. The thing is, and this is why, even Billboard is, it's about to get a little bit antiquated because now streaming is global. And Bad Bunny is really king. Bad Bunny is a global artist. He dominates globally, and he dominates in the U.S. as well. So on the platform, Billboard only accounts for U.S. So when we're saying first week sales, it's only in the U.S., right? So nobody cares if somebody in Sri Lanka fucking streamed you, you know what I mean? Or you bought an album there. But it's really, Bad Bunny was the high streamed artist on the first, then it was Taylor, and then he took over from the 16th, and he's been the guy since. It's 1 and 2. The way it goes, you got Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, Drake, and Weeknd right there. Those are top 4, and then you get I forgot some white artist or something like that. I can't remember who it is, right? But that's how it goes. All right, let me address some of the things he's saying, right? And he started off really quick out the gate with this, and I don't want to get political, but I do want to address it.
Keep it going for Rose and Bruno.
Okay.
I'm going to say eyes out.
Okay. All right. Now, chat, I do want to kind of address this. I don't want to get political here, but unfortunately, this does go a little bit into politics, and I'm going to make it musical at the end. I do want to say this because I do know it is a hot topic, right? It's a hot topic about ICE. I'll tell you my general demeanor about things. You guys do know I emigrated from the island of Jamaica. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I was born in Jamaica, right? And by the way, I hold 2 citizenships, right? And you guys see how I deal with stuff here. I'm not here to sway your political view. I'm kind of logical with stuff. If there's anybody who would not necessarily be the biggest proponent of ICE, I'm one of those people, right? I'm an immigrant. I was born in another country. However, I am a person that believes in a democratic society that says majority rules and that says that we vote for what supposedly is the thing. So here's my thing. And it does pain me to see so many people. This is the social thing of our time in this year. It's ICE. And I'm glad it's not racism. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but people are upset about ICE and immigration stuff. And I'm glad it's not about black and white, because in years past, we've seen how that's went. For me and how I think about it, right? And I've seen some of you guys even said I'm insensitive towards stuff. And I can't be insensitive. I was an immigrant. I believe that these issues are not pouted at after an election. Trump, if Trump is saying beforehand, I'm finna build a wall and deport all illegal immigrants. If you don't think, and by the way, if you leave it to me, I'll probably say, just give everybody amnesty, right? Close the borders, and everybody who already made it through, fuck it. Fuck it. You're a citizen, right? But the reality is, when the election happened, the person who won ran on, we're going to deport illegal aliens. And I always hate when after an election, we see such a huge social movement that's against something that a politician actually ran on, and I look at everybody to say, why didn't y'all vote? The nigga said he was going to deport people. So now we're in this situation where, there's craziness going on in Minneapolis. But they're not going to stop because people are mad. They're going to do what they claim half the country voted Donald Trump to do, which is deport illegal immigrants. Again, I'm for amnesty or whatever it is. But currently, the current administration, after an election, the people who voted for Trump acknowledged, or the people who voted, period, acknowledged that if Trump won, that was going to be his agenda, and he's not going to change it. So what I think is that if people feel like ICE, and maybe it's not deportation, maybe it's not deportation of illegal immigrants, maybe it's just how ICE is dealing with it, which I think that's a separate issue. I think these issues got to be handled at the voting booth. And for all these artists and so many people who are so loud about this, I think this is why you got to take these issues serious. If y'all don't want ICE in cities trying to do the president's bidding, don't make a nigga who is promising and vowing. He literally said it on day one, I'm deporting motherfuckers. Matter of fact, y'all niggas should just leave. He literally said it. And I hope when we get to election time, the sentiment of how divided we are over not only immigration, but even like ICE and how they're moving will allow people to vote that there's not a repeat of this. And I guess that's where like my whole point ends, right? Because I feel like we're hearing statements, ICE out, it's nothing going to change. You know what Trump is going to say? Motherfucker, 80 million people voted me in to deport niggas. So we going to do that shit. Fuck out of here. So again, the only way to really solve these things, you can't let the person who literally says he's going to do A get in. And when he does A, you're like, why'd you do A? Yeah. So don't want to get political here, but I do want to say, shout out to Bad Bunny. I think he's used his music to further his people's agenda. And I think he's on the opposite end of the spectrum of Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, I believe, did something politically that was for herself and her family. She wanted her green card, and she had some agendas for her family, maybe to get her husband off of a sex offenders list. She made those moves for her family and herself. Bad Bunny, I will give him credit, but I'm not saying one is better than the other. Bad Bunny, all his moves is for his fans. And his fans are primarily people in the diaspora of the Hispanic community all throughout Southern America and the Caribbean and even Europe. And he stands for their causes, even if it doesn't affect him, because I'm telling you, he's Puerto Rican. They're not deporting him. And I support him for that too. But I guess my overall thing was, I'm not here condemning anything, and I'm not saying Trump is impervious to whatever. I don't think we could ever have a perfect political candidate. But when you're stuck with only two choices, if you vote this guy in, you might like 80% of the things they're going to do, and then 20% you might not like or you might be indifferent to. But again, that's the decision you got to make. And again, I'm never upset with anyone who goes left, right, or wherever you go, because I think that's our right as Americans. I want to go into something that's kind of adjacent to this, and then we'll get to the Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z thing. But this is something really interesting that I noticed. And by the way, I want to salute Bad Bunny. If you wonder why I believe Bad Bunny, I hope Drake is taking note here. And I'm not mentioning Drake because some of y'all be like, yo, you're dick riding Drake again. No, it's gonna seem like a call out, but it's not. I've said this before. When you're at the top of this industry, it's your time in the sun to make your mark. They gave me the top media personality as Complex, and I made sure I got everything off my chest then. Because you know why? When I'm number 5 or number 10 or not on the list, I don't matter. When you're number 1, make the change you want to see. Stand for something. Don't just get all the cash and just let it go. When I was number 1, I said everything I need to say about that list. Hey, why is this person not on it? I need to be the most critical because that's the only time you motherfucking matter. Again, it's going to sound like criticism of my boy Drake, but it's not, but I guess it's kind of. Drake invented streaming. Hold on, because I know somebody's going to be hyperbolic. I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Drake was the test dummy, and he was the workhorse to establish streaming as the main source of music consumption. He was the most popular streaming artist for multiple years before other artists caught up. And those artists, namely The Weeknd and, Taylor Swift and Bad Bunny. I felt that he should have made power moves. What does that mean? I believe that the reason why Drake filed a lawsuit later, and the lawsuit to me read like, Universal, how could you? I helped build this shit. How could you favor this 3'8" midget over a guy who built this shit? And I think Universal looked at Drake and said, buddy, you did build this shit. But at the end of the day, this year, you ain't like us. And they rocked out, and I think Drake probably felt away. It's no different, and obviously it's to way more extent, but it's no different than when I see Complex. All these outlets talk shit about me. When I see Complex do a hit piece on me, it grinds my fucking teeth. Because I remember going up there. And I remember they had 400 people there, a bunch of writers writing bullshit. And me and Joe Budden went in, and after we knocked that shit out the park the first 2 weeks, when we came back, it was a bunch of computers in the corner and empty seats. They fired half the staff. We changed that company. They had a floundering video department, and we helped build that shit. I feel I am owed some deference from Complex when they're going to be speaking about me, even if it's a topic that might seem negative. And I think Drake feels that way with Universal. He's owed some deference. You can't do these underhanded tactics. You can't treat me like these other artists. And some might say that's entitlement. It is. But the smartest of the bunch will say, what did you expect? What did you expect? That's why it's important that while you are at the top, while you're the person that they need, you make sure you use that leverage to not only get money. Like, for example, when Drake was the guy, no one was close. I believe at that time Drake could have renegotiated and forced the hands of maybe the streaming company or even the label to say, hey, I need percentages. And by the way, I don't know if he does have this, but all what was reported was that Drake took a $20 million deal for Apple exclusive. It was one of the biggest albums. It was one of the biggest albums of that time. And I know you might say, who cares? It's just for a week. That week of exclusivity doubled their listener base, their subscriber base. It helped build. My camera good? It helped build that industry. 20 million is a lot of money. But when you think about it in comparison, and let's look at the revenue for Spotify, or, Apple Music, everything folds up under Apple, so it's hard to distinguish. So let's look at Spotify. Spotify revenue 2024. $16 billion. He dropped views in 2016. Let's look at Spotify revenue then. $3 billion. Are you getting my drift? Part of what you built is now worth 5 times more. And all they had to do was give you a measly $20 million. I'm not downplaying it. But this is why sometimes equity plays are important. They needed Drake then. These days, didn't I just show you the chart with the Bad Bunny thing? Didn't I just show you it? The highest streamed artist is Bad Bunny and Taylor. Drake's still up there, but he's no longer lapping the field by 5. Let me get to my point. As an artist, you have to make your mark and you have to change the game while you're at the top. I always like Kanye for that. Kanye, always when we thought he was going to give us whatever we thought he was going to give us and we were highly anticipating it, he flipped the shit. Nah, let's change the game around. That's amazing. Even if at the time we didn't understand it, over time we realized he was a genius. Again, let me get to the point. Why am I saying this? I think personally that Bad Bunny has just changed the game. Bad Bunny has done something that I'm realizing is having ripple effects all over the place. What is that, you might ask? Well, Bad Bunny, because of him standing with the people that support him, his fans, his Hispanic fans, his highly anticipated tour in 2025, he vowed, I will not do it on mainland U.S. soil. I will only do it outside the United States. I want to show you how that looked like. In 2025, he does the Debí Tirar Más Fotos World Tour. And if you don't know, I want to show you how this looked. Okay? So, it's the 6th concert tour by the Puerto Rican rapper, right? And it began here, right? And this is the important part. Let's get to it. Okay. So, he did the DR, Costa Rica, Mexico, but the important part is this. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Give me 1 second. Oh, no. Actually, it wasn't that. Sorry. Let me go back. Sorry. It's before that. So he's on a current, he stays on tour. This guy's getting like $9 million a show. It's this one. No me quiero ir de aquí. Let's do the translation on what this means, okay? So this was a tour in question. Because he didn't like politically what's going on in the United States, he refused. I want to translate this for y'all. Here's a translation. He says, I don't want to leave. Okay? I don't want to leave. Some people might say I don't want to go, but I don't want to leave. Now, it's called a residency, but it's essentially a tour. The reason why they call it a residency, because this was unheard of. Bad Bunny, from July 11th, 2025 until September 20th, 2025, he did 31 concert dates, all in the same venue. 31. 31 concert dates at the same venue. Unheard of. Same venue. July 11th, 12th, 13th. And I know you might say, because here's the thing. I want to show you how much this venue holds. Here's the capacity. Jose. All right. It's 18,000. You want to do the math? 18,000 times 30. I'll help you out. I'll do the math for you. 18,000 times 30. That's 540,000. And he did it every day. Now, I don't know if you guys have any Hispanic friends or whatever, but I I love me some Latinas. I can't lie to you. People who loved him after he basically positioned this tour to say, I'm not coming to U.S. This is before he announced the next tour, but he said, I'm not coming to the U.S. People had to go to Puerto Rico to go see him. So basically, he sold out. It wasn't only Puerto Rican residents. People, to see Bad Bunny, you had to go to see him. Why am I saying he changed the game? The idea of touring is that the artist comes to you. But imagine if an artist is so hot, he says, I ain't going nowhere. The tourist literally called, I don't want to go. I ain't leaving. If y'all want to see me, you come to me. Profound. Game changer. I want to tell you the ripple effects because I'm telling you this is a big dog, and when he does shit, it happens. This is starting a ripple effect. And the whole industry watched this Hispanic guy do it and say, what the fuck? A guy could do 30 consecutive dates, or it wasn't consecutive, but 30 dates and people go to them? What the fuck? Remember with touring, the idea is you get a bus, you drive around. Most of the expenses keep moving the stuff from city to city. But this one guy said, I'm doing it in one location. Now, we see it in Vegas, but Vegas is a special thing. It has this huge tourist economy. That's not Puerto Rico. And yes, there is a lot of people that go to Puerto Rico, but he turned Puerto Rico into the only place you could see him. I'm going to tell you where, and I know somebody else said, come on, next topic. But I have to applaud this guy because he's amazing. His tactic has inspired other people. So Harry Styles has announced a tour, and his tour is a very special tour. If you don't know Harry Styles, he's an English singer-songwriter. I believe he used to be in like a boys group or something like that. I don't know. But, he's really popular. He used to be in One Direction. Here's the thing. Harry Styles has announced his tour, and he's doing the same thing. He's doing a few cities, and he's doing hella dates. Okay? So, he goes to Amsterdam. He's staying there for this. He goes to UK. He's staying there for like 6 days. They're doing, basically, this is like a new way to tour. You're not going from city to city. You let everybody come to you. He's coming to Madison Square Garden. Look, He's coming to Madison Square Garden. So when he touches in the U.S., look, from Wednesday 26th all the way to October, it's 30 dates. Where did he get that idea from, chat? I don't want to say he jacked it from that Puerto Rican nigga, but come on. Monkey see, monkey do. This is a really new way how artists, and I think artists are going to do that. I don't know if Taylor Swift will do it. But he's doing 30 dates at the Garden. You know what that means? If you're in the United States, if you're in LA and you like Harry Styles, get on a plane. He's not coming to you. You come to him. If you're in Boston, he's not coming to you. You go to him. If you're in Florida, he's not coming to you. You go to him. If you're in Atlanta, if you're in Houston, if you're in Chicago, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, if you're in St. Louis, if you're anywhere, Birmingham, Alabama, you go to them. This is a really unique way, and they're calling it residencies. The artists supposedly like it more. Why? Well, they don't have to keep traveling. A lot of artists don't like touring because they got to go from city to city. This guy basically gets to, rent a house or whatever for 3 months in New York, and he does 30 shows. Here's the capacity of Madison Square Garden capacity. I think it's about the same thing. 18,000, 19,000. So it's going to be around 600,000 people he's doing too. And I hope you guys understood what I was trying to explain with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, while he's the guy, he has changed touring. And the ripple effects is now starting to happen. Where these artists are saying, we don't got to wait till Vegas to put us on some residency shit. Because artists love residencies. They're now touring like his residencies. We're coming to one city. And everybody who want to see us, pick a date, book your tickets, book your flight, get here. That's what it is. Okay? That's what it is. Okay. Wow. I try to give y'all a little music insight. Y'all look at y'all, man. Y'all are beefing in here. Yo, let's talk about Jay-Z. 30 dates is crazy. And I think basketball is going to start back up, but they'll skip those dates. Wow. Okay. I think we're here. So, after the release of the Epstein